later. His signature unit is Monk, of course, and he's got a great Monk Civ here. Welcome in first game of the day, and we've got JorDan versus Andy. We are on Copenhagen here, and once again, Andy has gone for the instant double dock with the Bengalis.
And here's, as I look at the mini-map there, JorDan as well going for a double dock. Now, slightly later, but I wonder how much JorDan has shifted his approach to this matchup, specifically because of the game he saw yesterday against
too.
Berbers
on Copenhagen. Not a civilization pick we've seen as yet. And we'll have to take a look at what the Berbers can do. And they're up at the same time. So yesterday against Doubt, Andy went for the double dock really early. Doubt kind of killed his fish. Because, you know, Doubt was faster than Feudal Age, and he ended up winning the water anyway, but he lost the early fish investment. Little bit of an adaptation here from Andy where he doesn't add 5 fishing chips in Dark Age. He just goes for 2, and then he clicks up and makes another one.
Yeah, so the major difference I see here is an extra fishing ship built on the way to Feudal Age here for FreakinAndy, and no one on gold just yet for either player.
And now, Andy, ooh, that's a nice mining camp. I like
that.
It.
Is lovely.
That's probably the best place you can put that mining camp for now.
Were you thinking one over to the right, maybe?
No. That's good. You get good saturation on both of them, and it's unlikely that you're going to want to get like 5 or 6 fills on that stone. If you want the stone, you only want 50 or max 150, so you can just put 2 on there. It's perfectly acceptable, and you can toss the TC on that later.
So 30 seconds away from the Castle Age for each of these, or not Castle Age, I'm jumping ahead right
Whoa,
now. I know. I want the fights to start. We're on Copenhagen. No, Feudal Age 20 seconds away for both players, and with 3 villagers on gold, we expect to see some naval units out and early. The question is galleys or fire ships. My expectation would be fire ships for both players. No, it's galleys for both players.
Yep. Galleys for both of them. Relatively fast Feudal. They get to Feudal Age at exactly the same time, and they're just going to be dancing around on that side. Now, what we'll have to look out for is when do they extend to that southern dock area, right? Because they're going to be fairly busy at the top. I would expect some sort of a stalemate. You can see JorDan's already got his scout down there. He's patrolling around. Andy was housed for a brief moment, but it looks like he got it figured out. And neither player has extended down to the south because they simply just don't have enough wood.
I'm getting ahead of myself, but with that patrolling scout, and there was a wolf kind of perfectly positioned that if a villager does make its way out there, it would first get attacked by a wolf and then follow up attacked by JorDan's scout.
Yeah.
That could be a really scary situation for Andy, but that's a little bit further ahead of us into the future. For now, we're going to refocus onto the water in the north as JorDan comes forward with 2 of his galleys. And Andy will stay home to defend for the time being. Here they're about to run into each other. We'll see who comes out on top.
2 very different galley bonuses for these civs. So if you look over at the Berbers, the ships actually move faster. It's 10% faster, which helps with the micro. There's also villagers moving faster, of course, and then they can create the camel archers, which are a beautiful addition, especially when you have that castle available to you right away. However, on the other side, for Andy, we have the Bengalis, and the Bengali ships heal over time. And also a very useful, unique tech in the Imperial Age, giving them more population, 10% less pop space used by villagers and monks, which can really help with that boom into the elephant archers.
Yeah, so really, FreakinAndy's going to favor the extended trades or little pot shots, and then reset, look for that regen. JorDan wants to use that extra movement speed to reposition and make sure that he's winning out in the actual micro battle. Here we have 4 galleys against 4 galleys, fletching in, though, for both players as well. So we're matched in the techs, and we haven't found any kills just yet, but it's JorDan on the offensive and Andy playing defensively.
So the only other player to pick Berbers on Copenhagen was during the qualifiers.
Wow.
And that was ACCM in his match versus Valis. Did he win that match, though, is the question. I don't quite remember it. Anyway, looks like Andy is going to pull the ship back, and he will be healing over time, so he's got to make sure that's it. Yeah, you need to make sure that you don't group that up with your other ships because it will always go to the back there, and you got to keep it away from the ships from JorDan, and JorDan is really utilizing the 5% or 10% faster ship speed that he has.
Yeah, great find by JorDan to get the first kill of the game, starting to remove the land, or I guess the area that Andy has to work with here. But with more reinforcements coming in, JorDan is thinking about turning tail and running back home. He's got that movement speed, so ultimately can outrun his opponent. But every second that he's not fighting is seconds that Andy is healing up with those fishing ships and regaining the health. But we can check it there, 556 to 439. Technically, JorDan has the advantage.
And JorDan has been spotted on the dock to the south, but he's got 2 villagers there. Andy will have that information, but unfortunately for him, he has a scout that's much weaker than JorDan's. He can't stop that, even with the spearman involved, and JorDan is being very active, pulls his scout away. So it doesn't look like Andy will be able to deny that position. Oh my, beautiful by JorDan to take out that scout. He can now go heal up in his own castle with his scout, and he's got the dock up in time.
In the face of a spear as well. What a play.
What a boar.
Yeah, whoa.
There's many other things happening right now. The micro is happening, so the boar, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
You know, at least we're still bringing in the food. It's 3-2 in the KD, and that's largely because of that extra scout kill there for JorDan in the middle of the map. We're still microing on the water. No fishing ships have gone down, and JorDan did find his way up to a 3rd fishing ship and all of that to match the fishing economy overall.
So much value from the healing. You can see it. We've got it selected right now. It's just ticking up, and now he's almost 300 HP ahead of his opponent. Although JorDan is doing a fantastic job holding him in this position, protecting his fish by just being forward, and he's forcing Andy to keep production up. JorDan is still only at 7 galleys, and JorDan's about to click to Castle Age.
Say, doing it with lower numbers is super impressive, and Andy just doesn't feel like he has permission to commit to the all-in. Fantastic snipe to reduce the numbers by 1. More reinforcements to join here for Andy. So he's not too threatened in the end. He's now going for a dock in the south, and JorDan hasn't quite spotted it yet, but we have a spearman going forward. We'll see if he makes it all the way to the edge there and actually becomes aware of it.
And ACCM won that game with Berbers. He built 15 stables in Imp. ACCM was gaming.
For real.
Nice.
For real. So the flood was on. We'll see if JorDan can find himself in a similar position, make use of those bonuses of the cheaper cavalry coming out of the Berber stables. Hasn't spotted it just yet.
Is he going to see it here? And he does. So well done there from Andy or JorDan to spot that dock. JorDan's still trying to hold him here, and JorDan is now making fire galleys. So once he gets that war galley upgrade, maybe he can surprise Andy. He really wants to hold on to these galleys as a support unit. The fire galleys, he's going in for that one, and he gets it, man.
Dude.
He's holding the line. He's got, what, 6 versus 10, and he's just like, you shall not pass.
JorDan's feeling himself this morning, man. Who in their right mind takes a fight like this? 6 galleys against 10. You see that 1,100 health to 400, and JorDan is still entertaining the micro battles. To your point, though, also buying himself time, that 30 seconds he needs to get to the Castle Age, make use of the fire ships, and possibly a war galley upgrade to snowball across the map, remove those fish from Andy in the end.
Look at these dodges from JorDan. He's like, listen, kid, I remember the 1v1 Islands galley meta from back in the day, all right? I was playing that when you weren't even a thought.
You think you know galley micro? I was born in the galley micro.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, he's kind of being outnumbered now, and he's going to have to fall back to his fire galleys, but the war galley research is 30 seconds away, and those fire galleys will get a lot stronger against the galleys from Andy, and Andy will need to start retreating soon.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go. That's all JorDan needs in terms of time. Andy hitting the Castle Age himself is going to start the retreat because his war galley upgrade needs a bit more time to become useful. On the southern side, not too much action just yet in that pond, but here we go. JorDan now with the initiative.
Yeah, and the speed really paying off for JorDan. So he's going to be able to catch up to this Navy because he's simply faster with the Berbers. So here come the war galleys. Here come the fires. War galley research is at 6 seconds away for Andy. No demos in the queue. He's making fires of his own, and he's got war galley research completed, but the fires are right there for JorDan. So maybe there's a chance for JorDan to clear up these fishing ships and potentially clear up the Navy. It looks like Andy's going to be able to defend, though.
Yeah, Andy looking for some fire ship production as well to give himself a front line to work with, but all the fishing ships do go down. So at the very least, JorDan has done economic damage, and now he's going to get himself out. On the bottom side, we have two fire ships against fire ships, but with the demo, Andy's going to have the initiative there and look to eliminate the fish from JorDan, also the first to get outside his walls and bring up a second TC.
Yeah, JorDan with a few idle villagers in his own base, but he's going to get that sorted out. He needs that second town center somewhere. Andy already has the villager lead because of Bengalis. He's getting the extra villagers on age up. So Andy will need to start, or sorry, JorDan will need to start catching up to Andy as Andy pushes forward with the Navy on the top.
Yeah, a lot of market use there by JorDan to try and balance the eco. So while he was focusing a lot on the micro and getting something done in the northern pond, he did let some things slip from the economic side. His fishing ships are going down in the south, while it looks like he might be trying to win the top battle here with these fire ships against the galleys. Galley numbers dwindling, though, here for JorDan. This is a close fight, to say the least. A great split on the fire ships to draw some of that fire away. Does eliminate the fire there from FreakinAndy, and now Andy's on the run.
JorDan's naval control this game has been just impeccable. It's been phenomenal up there. He's getting value with low numbers of units, and Andy has been unable to take out his fishing economy. Although it is only 2 ships, it's still something, right? As JorDan now goes out to Stone, and he's going to start thinking about a 3rd town center, as he already has the 2nd one complete.
Yeah, of course, he did use that market earlier to balance his eco. Didn't pick up any stone when he was on the way to the Castle Age, and so sitting on that 50, needs 50 more to get the 3rd TC down. Looks like FreakinAndy is well on his way to booming, and Bengalis will benefit.
Look at how sneaky he's being with the fire. Oh. He just leaves. He backs up with everything else. He leaves. He's like, are you going to add fish? Because I will roast those.
Very, very, very intelligent move there from JorDan, at the very least just to get information. This does mean, though, that he's continued to be outnumbered back at home, and now these 2 fishing ships might not be long for this world, trying to get back to drop off that 15 food before they get eliminated.
He made the run.
There it is.
He got it.
Hero fisherman. And then he goes back out for more. Sir!
Yeah, well, he's not surviving for very much longer. So he sinks, and JorDan discovers that Andy doesn't have any fish. He's going to hide that fire in the corner and maybe come back later. I think attacking the dock with that would be a bad idea. Andy has won the water in the south, though, and Andy still has an economic lead. He's got 55 villagers versus the 50 from JorDan. JorDan still has not started to add in any camel archers. Andy hasn't started to add in any Ratha.
Also hasn't gotten that 3rd TC up, right? He did just hit the stone count that he needs, but doesn't quite have the wood to drop it, transitioning onto farms because he's lost all food economy on water. Andy with control of both sides of the map when it comes to Navy. JorDan, though, with the garrison flags there, is going to make Andy think about what his numbers look like and the possibility of surging back.
Yeah, and JorDan on garrisons. He on garrisons.
Only one of the docks.
He's still got the fire ship behind this, too. The demos come out now. He's looking for a good demo hit on the fires. Andy doing a wonderful job splitting away, but the war galleys are all going to go down. And JorDan still forcing some investment from Andy at the top. At what point do you just stop investing here? Because neither of you has fish. It feels like both of you are going to start, keep committing. It feels like it's just not worth it.
I think now is the time, and you kind of see it here with the 3rd TC coming up here from JorDan outside the walls. We're going to have a pretty solid transition onto the land ego. If anything, the water you want to focus is the south, right? Because of the presence
relics.
of those 3 relics, and your opponents being Bengalis, very strong monks. You'd like to prevent them from getting their hands on it, and JorDan, with a monk already on the field, is thinking about it. We'll also get vision of these villagers coming out for the central TC.
That is an aggressive TC. Like, you really want to control that gold at some point, but usually you try and do that with a castle, right? You're not trying to do that with just villagers roaming out. JorDan is now trying to block the villagers. He can actually heal that scout. He can do like a step back maneuver where he blocks with the scout, heals with the monk.
This is impressive. I mean, he steals away 2 villagers. He's pushing back the villagers of Andy as well. They now delete the TC spot and go for a stable instead. Ratha, though, will be able to defend, at least for now. Camel archers on the field, too. First relic picked up here for JorDan, or rather second, one already at home, and second on the way.
The monks have no juice, though. The monks have no juice. So the monks will need to fall back. He's going to try and heal this up and attack that Ratha with the camel archers. We got a knight coming in. The monk survives!
What a play!
Yeah, that's the power of friendship right there.
The micro has been on point for JorDan in the military battles. Also forces the delete out of the next.
He deletes it without it even being targeted by the monk.
He just knows.
Yeah, he's like,
he just knows.
I can't escape.
Exactly. All right, so the camel archer numbers continue to build. Knights and camels as well. A good mix of hybrid type units here for JorDan to control the center of the map that Andy clearly wanted.
Okay, JorDan had 70 villagers, 85 for Andy. So Andy, once again, is economically ahead. He was in a similar position against Doubt, although he had a lot more fishing eco versus Doubt. I think it was like 12 fishing ships or something. However, Doubt managed to control the center of the map and push back, and that's kind of what JorDan is doing right now. And the Camel Archers are a very, very tough unit to stop once they're massed up. They're one of the most powerful compositions in the game if you get full, like, elite Camel Archers. With cavalry being spammed in front.
Yeah, terrifying unit in mass, and JorDan's even reaching for a 4th TC. So maybe understanding that he was late to that 3rd and has some room to make up in the economic realm. Does have handcart in, though, to no wheelbarrow on the other side.
And
so that is
Berbervilles.
another thing to take note of.
He is zooming. Look at this. Look at her.
She's lightning
Sheesh.
fast. Usain Bolt, move over.
I know, man. She's quick. She's quick. Now there's a castle there, so that will be spotted by JorDan. Andy is attempting to build that. If we look at JorDan's point of view, he sees the Wrath, he sees the castle foundation. I don't know if that's going up.
I'm not sure either. Let's see if he can get the snipes onto the monks, because the conversions could be huge. There are 3 monks in total, and 1 conversion comes through. 2 of the monks are sniped, still trying to avoid the final conversion.
And he's got a knight and a
dive
camel.
in onto the villagers. It's the knight and the camel that are really going to do work, but the monk is now trying to convert the camel. That's fantastic. This monk will go down. Another one arrives to the scene, and if it's quick on the conversion time, could pick up this knight. The delete has forced out of it. So, Andy, great recovery from what could have been disastrous.
I mean, it's still a good situation for JorDan, right? He's bought himself a ton of time. He's denied that castle. He sniped a few monks. He's got light cav coming. That tech was coming in just a couple minutes ago. JorDan knew that Andy would prioritize monk numbers, and he's going to be able to snipe even the Bengali monks with those light caps. So JorDan pulling himself back closer to an equal footing. Andy's still ahead.
Yeah, here we have just another engagement. Camel Archer is going to keep their distance here against the scouts, but this castle has been denied, at least for the time being, as partially built. Andy, of course,
He didn't even have Bodkin. That's why he wasn't killing the monks. It's fine.
Yeah, overall, still okay. Like you said, I think an advantageous or a solid win there for JorDan just to delay this castle position and at least to have awareness of what areas of the map Andy wants to control. Andy did sneak a villager forward to get the stone walls down along the southern side, and so that will centralize any pushes directly through the middle. Not going to get caught off guard too much, but the production here for JorDan has been incredible for military units.
The gates again. He started. Remember, we had 6 gates set up from Andy. It didn't really help him all that much. He told me after his plan was just to boom into elephant archers, and he was really disappointed in himself that he couldn't get the mass up. He's coming out now with the villagers. He snipes 1 monk. He's got a light cap behind, maybe 1 camel archer converted at the end of the day. Doesn't get it. And the villagers are trying to build the castle again. I know you had a villager lead. I don't know if it was big enough that you can just keep tossing away.
Ooh, spearmen, though. They close the distance on the camel archers. They're going to get some good pokes. But overall, once again, this seems good for JorDan just to delay the castle a bit, find some villager kills. The question is, does this castle go up in the end? I'm not sure how close it is.
Anything.
He's sending more villagers forward, though, to guarantee that the castle will go up, but at the cost of many villager lives. 96%, soon to be 100. JorDan is going to sit at the base of this castle, at least for a moment.
I think you're stuck there.
Most
Until
likely.
he brings more monks, I think you're just stuck there. you are stuck underneath that castle. The villagers can't really escape, and JorDan, sensing that more monks are on the way, is now running, take some hits.
Dave, I'm getting some serious deja vu from yesterday's game. The castle positions are almost identical.
Almost identical.
Andy was forced onto like a further back hill last time, while Doubt threw 2 castles straight into the middle of the map. We've got the gates just like we did before. Andy's first to Imperial Age, JorDan 2 minutes away. So the question is, can Andy get enough done with his Imperial Age timing to get the initiative back while JorDan has more of the map control?
Any other civ, and those monks don't get any conversions. But with Bengalis, they have that extra pierce armor, and the camel archers aren't quite doing enough damage with the first volley, so he has to 3-volley them to kill them. So Andy, you know, Bengali's really helping him out there. He's going for another castle slightly more forward, and this is so similar to the game yesterday. He's ahead economically pretty significantly, but he doesn't have that middle map position, and a little bit earlier production of the military from JorDan is really, really stalling Andy out. And you can tell he's like, where am I supposed to build? There's
Right.
no room. There's too many wood lines here. He can't go forward because JorDan is there. JorDan got into the back of the base, delayed that first castle. Really difficult position.
Yeah, reaching out once again to try and get a forward castle position, but it's only 2 villagers building it at the moment. He doesn't even have enough room for all of those villagers to get to the base of the castle. 2 trebs out, but not yet firing. The gate is open, but not taken advantage of. Plenty of camel archers forward.
Yikes.
These have bodkin and ballistics. They'll start to eliminate villagers left and right. They're going to be feasting, and Andy realizes and decides to back away for the time being.
Yeah, and it's such a bad position that Andy feels the need to unpack his trebs not within range of that castle.
Yeah.
And he's going to be targeting camel archers. He was sitting back there with monks hoping like maybe I can out-heal the damage that you're doing to my villagers, but he's lost a lot of villagers along the way. Still has an eco lead currently, but he needs to take this position in the middle because there's extra golds there. There's a lot of valuable resources, especially that wood in the middle for the late game. You have to take control of that area. JorDan's not letting him do it.
Yeah, Bracer and Chemistry immediately clicked for JorDan upon reaching the Imperial Age. He's got a Treb on the field already and 2 castle production to match the 2 castle production here of Andy. So just like yesterday, it's a battle of Imperial Age armies. Who's going to have the better composition? Who's going to have the better awareness of when they have a winning position in the fights?
Also, 3 relics for JorDan, 0 relics for Andy. He's been so distracted. He's had control of that water at the bottom for a very, very long time. Hasn't been able to transport out there and grab that. There's even a relic in the back of the base. He hasn't had time. He's had monks right beside it, just no time because he's constantly dealing with the pressure from JorDan. Age of Gates coming in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 gates all over the place. Andy trying to slowly push this back, but Bombard Cannon is a huge advantage for JorDan and should be able to deal with the traps. Nice game.
Light Cav swooping in. Same with the Camel Archers, looking for the picks on the monks first, then to target the trebuchets. Looks like one will go down at the very least. Both players are repairing away on their castles, but Andy's first will fall just like that and loses 2 trebs to boot. It's not looking good.
What a phenomenal play from JorDan. Really, the Camel Archer production, the timing on it was on point, and then he pressured forward, managed to find that castle, and he was active with them. He wasn't just sitting in the middle trying to pick off a monk here or there. He was actively looking for damage, and Andy has once again found himself in a position where he's got a decent eco. He's going into Onager, Siege Engineers now.
Wow.
But the emphasis is on him to push JorDan back.
Yeah, it's a costly transition, so if it doesn't work, it could spell the end of the game. But if he's able to surprise JorDan and find some good hits onto those Camel Archers with Onagers, it could absolutely turn the tides of the battle. Important to note that I see Bombard Cannons on the field here for JorDan, but none yet for his opponent. And so that means keeping your siege safe is going to be that much more difficult here for Andy.
Well, he can't even make Bombard Cannons, right? Bengalis don't get them.
Oh, good point.
You were thinking, yeah, I know. I made that mistake earlier when the Civ was released. I had the impression that they could make them because they're a good monk Civ, but you're just hoping to convert the Bombard Cannons from your opponent, basically, with Bengalis.
Very tough position to be in, and JorDan's already aware of the Onager tech in as he chased that one in with the light cap. Didn't find the kill, but now he won't be surprised as much. He can split his Camel Archers up to not take too much damage.
Camel Archers are so devastating, though. So devastating. And Hussar's on the way, too.
Oh, my goodness. JorDan seems locked in this morning. We didn't give him a set at his bedtime.
Yeah.
And now we have a different type of energy.
This is like midday for him. Or no, this is late afternoon
That's
for
actually a
JorDan.
good point. Yeah. He's ready for dinner.
I was at breakfast this morning, and Mem was telling me, like, JorDan was here 2 hours ago, you know?
That's too good. Snipes the Onager. So again, so many resources invested in that tech and the production of the Onagers, and JorDan continues to roll through. There are Halberdiers on the field. If left unchecked, then both of the cavalry units being produced here for JorDan in the Archers and the Hussar will melt. But as long as he plays the mobility, he can run circles around them. Coming forward now for a castle position on all of that. He's splitting Andy in half, pushing straight up the middle of the map.
This is such, I mean, we've said it before, but this is just a repeat of yesterday. There's no Elephant Archers for Andy's, but he's trying to make an expensive unit comp. He can't keep the numbers up, and it's just unique unit, elite Camel Archer coming in from JorDan, and forward castles. Trebs, Bombard Cannons. It's such a repeat of the Doubt versus Andy game yesterday. It feels like Andy needs to, take some notes and maybe adjust his strategy on Copenhagen a little bit, because Jordan and Doubt are punishing him big time.
Yeah, really tough because both times he's had the eco lead, and you see more siege workshops going up behind the castle. He wants to get the onager numbers up, but they fall as quickly as they're produced, and he doesn't have enough halberdiers in front to prevent the hussar from coming in and sniping.
It's
one
done,
more
man.
castle position here on the right-hand side, but you have to assume that Andy is going to throw in the towel anytime now, as he's feeling the same feelings that he felt yesterday against Doubt. I was in a position to win this maybe. There were things I could have done, and yet
Jordan going
it
for the
all
king.
slipped away.
Camel Archer's coming in. They will kill that tower fairly quickly. Andy is like,
Oh.
no. He quick walls it out.
Yeah.
He's got another gate there. He's thinking, he's putting the pieces together. He's like, how many buildings do I need to stop this? Jordan is still running through. Jordan, he's going for the tower. As soon as you see that tower, you have to prioritize that. You have to prioritize
He's just going to
that.
call the GG. You won't get my king.
Let him have it,
You
dude.
won't get
Come
my king.
on.
Whoa.
Let him take it.
That's a brutal loss there for Andy to kind of run it back, right? I mean, that's the thing, because it does speak to the fact that he had confidence in his strategy yesterday. He does believe that he was in a winning position. You run it back, you lose for a second time. Definitely not the way you want to kick off this set against Jordan. And for Jordan, in a lot of ways, felt picture perfect. I mean, again, how much he was able to get done on water early with fewer galley numbers. The micro is incredible.
I think Andy needs to, if he's going to keep going Bengalis, he needs to add Ratha earlier and in higher numbers, because then he can at least, like, force the Camel Archers back. He gets that castle up in safety, or maybe gets the walls up a little bit quicker, and then he's got a monk army with Ratha in front where he can push. Just military investment earlier, and don't let your opponent, even though you have a better eco, take control of that middle area.
Right, and the way we saw that bear out, right, was as he goes for that central TC, Jordan finds him, and because Andy doesn't have the military to support, loses some villagers, loses some time, loses attention in all of that, and ends up getting kind of sequestered into the corner, just like he did against Doubt. So a very solid 1-0 start here for Jordan, but nothing is decided just yet. Andy will have the choice between the 4 remaining maps: Shoals, Arena, Dry Graveyards, and Arabia to boot. He did lose a map with his first pick, Civ, though, and again, that's going to be kind of a thought that's working away at the back of your brain.
He was frustrated yesterday that he lost Copenhagen. So is this like a compounding issue where he's like, it's just building on the frustration he felt yesterday, even though he won the set? He felt like he should have won, and then he goes into it again, and almost the exact same game in terms of the way it played out.
Well, I heard sounds, so I got excited that perhaps right away we're into game number 2.
I believe we are. I think we should be loading in soon. So this is going to be Arena, and we are going to see Andy playing as Italians, Jordan playing as Turks, and they're super close, man.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They are so close. They're in the same postal code or zip code or whatever.
Spitting distance here.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned the Turks in the draft, and this is obviously a classic map to find them on. A lot of benefits for the Turks in terms of a Civ for Arena. When monks are a favorite to play in a map like this, Light Cav and Hussar upgrades being free is phenomenal. Also having that +1 Pierce armor, just in case you go into ranged units, is nice. Janissaries, Castle Drops, a very potent unit, and can pack a very powerful punch in the end.
Yeah, and then on the other side we have Italians, which is, Italians is one of the best civs across the board for almost every map. They can do every map quite well, some of them better. Arena, we see them somewhat commonly, and you can go up to the next stage cheaper, which is phenomenal. You've got Condottiero. If you've calling out the gunpowder from Turks, that is a fantastic unit with a bonus against gunpowder, and you don't need to research anything for them. You can just make them right away in Imperial Age. So it's a beautiful Civ. Is it powerful enough to deal with the Turks? That's the question.
Yeah, just a well-rounded Civ too, right? Because University Technologies being cheaper, that's lovely. Genoese Crossbowmen, of all the archers to have to play into scouts that have +1 Pierce, that's the one you want to play out of your castle. And very likely we'll see castles on a map like Arena. So an interesting Civ matchup to say the least. But as it is, Arena, it will be some time until we see the two players interact. Got to get through the Dark Age into Feudal, probably see some scouts produced, but then it's about map control, relic control, and which player is going to choose to be the aggressor. My inclination would be Turks looking for possibly a castle drop and massing the Janissaries.
I mean, with it this close, castle drop is a potential, right? But with Turks, you can always play the meta which is light cav, monk, war, and then you try and go late game. The bases are so close, though, and that definitely changes the perspective of the players. It's interesting how there's 2 relics over to that left side. And if we had a light cav war between these 2 guys, it would not be unlikely for those to be the last 2 relics to be collected.
Right.
Because they're like so busy bringing it back and forth, right? And then they can sneak the other ones over to the side. Relics are generally in favor of Andy, too. Or no, sorry, in favor of JorDan. Pretty far away from Andy's base. Is not going to like that one.
Yeah, now JorDan the first to become aware of their proximity, right? Because he moves out to scout first while Andy pushes in an extra tier.
Okay.
Yeah, Stone going to be moved on to here for JorDan. Andy moving out to scout now as well. So he'll run into the walls of JorDan here shortly. And I'd be this is a moment I'd want to be in either of their brains, the moment they realize they're that close.
Yeah.
To know if they're flipping their strategy, whatever they came into the game as, saying, ooh, now I'm rethinking, given how close we are.
It's funny, too, because you talk to Andy about Arena, and he's an excellent Arena player. He's, in the Arena Discords. He's talking to the clowns about their strategies. He's making clown strategies himself. And when he watches someone like Hera or Viper or Tato play Arena, he's like, they're doing it wrong, but they're making up for their wrong decisions because they're so good.
Wow.
And like he's watching these strategies, he's like, you're going all in, but you're not going all in. He's like, this is wrong. Like you're only winning because you're much better than your opponent. You're out macroing this stuff, right? So his perspective on Arena is extremely interesting, and I think JorDan is an excellent Arena player himself, but I don't know if his strategies are as thoroughly thought out as Andy's are.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did have a great concept of strategy yesterday against Hera, but we saw him struggle in the mid game, right? Once he wrestled that initiative away and found himself in a forward position, it did seem like he was unsure about how to close it out. Rather, do I stay in Castle Age, go into Scout's Light Cav to deal with the increased Monk production? He tried to match the Imp for the Imp and ended up getting pushed back in the end. So maybe some indecision biting him when it came down to it. Feudal Age just about to come in here for FreakinAndy. JorDan going up 1 villager later, so he'll be a little bit behind. Both players just making sure they can find each of the relics. But look at this. Andy hasn't found a single relic. He hasn't found a single relic.
He's really threading the needle here.
What on earth? What are the odds of that? I mean, he'll get one here soon, right? There it is.
Where are they? There we go. The first relic he finds is the furthest one from his base.
Admin, I think we have a bugged map.
Neither player has
what
found,
on earth?
Neither player has found those 2 to the left either.
And
they're
honestly,
like, surely there's nothing there.
Honestly, the last place you go at this point.
Yeah,
right?
it might be the last relic found.
That is incredible.
Hey, whoa, birds. What's going on in the center of the map there? Hang on a second.
Ew.
Okay, we had a little confluence of birds. They're all coming back to the same.
It's mating season.
Part. Okay.
It's the.
You're not going to sneak that one by me.
It's the conference of birds. What do you think they're discussing?
Bird things.
bird things naturally. Dash, you dummy. Either way, let's see here. Castle Age quickly coming in for both players. No surprise there. The build orders are tight. Eco upgrades to follow. And so now we look to see which will be the buildings to come down. Is it going to be single monastery, double monastery?
He still hasn't
found him
There
yet.
we go.
Okay.
There we go. And JorDan's the first one to spot him. He's like, oh, there's a relic there. Huh? There's a relic there, too? Interesting.
Yo, you could just wall those into your own base at this point.
I mean, there is a potential for that. There's also, like, stone and gold there. That is an incredibly important area of the map over there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where I'd be eyeing for any kind of a castle position.
JorDan also opens barracks here. So he is going to go. How many does JorDan have on stone right now? He's got 5. He's going to have enough stone for that castle. And he's making the barracks, too. So very interesting.
A couple Turk spearmen, maybe a stable behind that, just to have some military on the field to make sure that he can get that castle down against the walls here of his opponent. On the other side, FreakinAndy still searching for those relics. He's going to find the 2 as well. And once again, I got to wonder what he's thinking as soon as he sees the proximity of these relics. Oh, my goodness. We need to contest.
Yeah, we need to get on this one for sure.
All right, Castle Age is in for Andy. He does have the initiative. He's going to lunge for a TC first of all things. Wants to expand the eco. Waiting to see if any of those production buildings will be dropped. The villagers are coming forward for JorDan.
And I think there's an argument to be made to... What?
No.
Is that town center? You cannot. Andy, I think, might have misread Jordan's strategy. I don't think you can ever build a TC there. Jordan's like, oh, you want to make it there.
Wow.
Oh, I see. And Andy now has to delete that town center, and both of those relics will be firmly under Jordan's control. The stone, the gold, and that side of the map. Beautiful. And Jordan, with the instant light cav upgrade, is going to be taking out the scout from Andy. I think Andy absolutely misread what Jordan would be doing here.
Yeah, Monastery going up at home for Jordan. Is there any Monastery on the way here for FreakinAndy? Because it's starting to look like maybe, okay, there it is, but it's much later. We could be in a situation where we're 5 relics to 0.
Yeah. I think Andy thought Jordan was going to play light cav monk meta and then like go into additional TCs. I don't think he expected the castle drop.
Yeah, those 2 relics are secured. I would leave them there. Now go work on picking up the other 3 because you can always come and get those for Jordan. We already have a monk on the way. Of course, he gets that free light cav upgrade here from Turks, so doesn't have to invest the food or the gold into that. And just as I expected, he's moving out to the right-hand side to get the contested relics first.
Okay, so Jordan will have access to Janissaries. Does he make some is another question. The castle might just be for positioning, and his Janissaries are now on the way. Monks are coming out. Light cav is still alive. Andy just expanding his eco. He's still 2 TC. How is he adapting to this castle forward is the question. And right now, I mean, he just doesn't have the resources to really do anything.
I mean, he's still committed to the 3 TCs after seeing the castle drop come in. And I think that TC being placed is enough permission for Jordan to produce those Janissaries, right? He knows that his opponent wants to build up the economy, and so he's going to put a little pressure on him.
And he does have a cheaper Imperial Age, but the food eco is not there. He doesn't have enough stone for a castle. The gold eco is not there. So he's a very long way away from having any solutions to that forward position. The Janissaries are coming in. Andy has walled a little bit, but these things can still snipe some vills, harass the farms, cut off that food eco a little bit, and Andy will only have some monks in defense. So this is going to be a really tough situation. And like you mentioned, I mean, just 5 relics for free from Jordan.
Easily 2 already at home. So he did grab one of the uncontested relics and then one of the contested ones on the right-hand side, or rather in the center of the map. There is still a scout out there for Andy that could find a lucky snipe or 2 and at least slow the return of those
follow-up castle.
I mean, look at this from Jordan. He's already surrounding him. Yeah, okay, you've got a 10 villager lead, but at least 10 of your vills aren't working, or at least not efficiently at this point.
This position for the Janissary is not going to hold for very long. I mean, Sanctity is coming in for Andy, but this is what we were looking forward to. Another castle from Jordan. He realizes the monks are there. He needs to back up. So excellent timing from Andy with these monks. He didn't reveal them until he had 2. And Andy is going to attempt to wall in these villagers once again. He did it against Hart on Canberra. I don't think he's going to get it done here against Jordan on Arena, but still, pushing the Janissaries back and pushing that foundation back also needs loom.
Like Cav swooping in, looking for the snipe on the monks. We also have a spear there trying to defend. He gets 1 monk, doesn't find the second just yet. And now the castle's going to try and go down here for Jordan. We're bringing villagers forward to fight here for Andy. He knows how dire a situation this is if the castle does go up in the end. Janissary production is still keeping, or rather 4 Janissaries inside the walls, looking to do damage. We have another tower coming up in defense. It's panic time here for FreakinAndy.
Yeah, he's managed to wall in these villagers, though, and he's walled out the reinforcements. He just needs monks. Unfortunately, he has 0 monks on the field. He doesn't really have any converted Janissaries of his own. He's just fighting this with double tower, one of those towers barely even ranging the villagers building this castle, and trying to make another one and trying to push out with villagers too. He's coming back with a scout, but I don't think he has enough to deny this castle. It's at 83%. Jordan's still working away. Villagers are low HP, but Andy will not be able to stop the castle going up from Jordan, and this is a terrible position for Andy. He's going to have to call it.
Yeah, Jordan loses some villagers in the end, but Andy will toss the game. He knows that he's too far gone to return in this one with the double castle drop. Jordan, great awareness of what the map position allowed him to do. Reacted phenomenally to seeing that TC, that greedy TC being dropped on the left-hand side.
That's a misread from Andy. 100% that's a misread. I don't think he expected Janissaries. I think Jordan's normal style is to just go light cav and then boom behind, and Andy kind of put him in that, like he stereotyped Jordan as a boomy type of player, and Jordan was just like, no, you're so close, and I'm playing Turks. Like, I'm going to make a castle, and why not make it on your face in that area? But that TC from Andy tells us everything we need to know about what he expected Jordan to do. You never go for a TC there if you're thinking your opponent is making Janissaries or if you're thinking they're dropping a castle.
Right. Like maybe at most he expects Jordan to do what he did yesterday, which is castle at home, right? Just for safety. And even still, he showed his hand way too early with that extra TC. Maybe if that third TC goes up at home originally, Jordan is, second guessing a bit more, being so all in his pressure.
Yeah.
Either way, he has the right call. He had great scouting on the relics, and kind of once again perfect play here from Jordan in the first set of the day.
Yeah, and he's going to be kicking himself for that one too. He's going to be pissed about that.
I
dude.
believe it. I believe it.
Like, how can I lose arena like that?
And once again, you've committed your top 2 civs, right? Which just tells me just you have such confidence in those civs on those maps, and that's why you would have picked them early. To lose both of those games, one of which is on your home map as well, puts you in awful positioning. Now, he does have Scholes up next, and we saw a phenomenal performance on Scholes out of him yesterday. So
With the Saracens.
This could be the bounce back.
Yeah,
exactly,
and,
with Saracens.
and that was really, really strong against Gajars. You wonder what sort of civilization Jordan would be going for. I'm thinking Portuguese on Scholes could be a potential. I mean, there's Malians as well there. I don't think Hindustanis or Aztecs is really the play.
Yeah, really. So if we ignore the map, Civ versus Civ, of those 4, what's just the best singular matchup against Saracens?
I think Portuguese is a decent matchup against Saracens, yeah.
Because to me, Jordan, I think, is really keying into what he saw in yesterday's series so far, right? Taking direct learnings from what Doubt was able to expose in Andy's play and strategies yesterday, and seems to be taking those learnings and even, plus oneing onto them today to make them stronger. So if you expect that Saracens play again here on Scholes, ideally he has picked one of the civs that he believes is the true counter to that on that map.
Oh boy, Andy needs to get something rolling. He's looked so good in this tournament, but compared to Jordan, Jordan had a slip up yesterday against Hera. It was mostly on Hera's home maps. If you remember, Jordan didn't play a single one of his home maps yesterday, and he came out with a smile. And I'm like, "Do you feel bad about that 3-0?" He's like, "No, I didn't play my home maps.
Right.
Like I played his." And obviously he's going to be better there, so I don't feel terrible about it. But the performances and the sets he had previous to that one were insane.
I was going to say, for coming through the first 2 days of the tournament, I mean, Jordan and Hera, for me, playing at the same level, right? I was already eyeing them as a possible finals pairing.
Well, we'll see what level Hera's at when he matches up against Tatu, who looks incredible, too. That's later in the day. I think that's, set 4?
I think set 4 is exactly right.
Okay.
So, stay tuned for that one, everyone. But it looks like the players have dove into series point here for Jordan, sitting on a 2-0, looking to close it out in 3-0 fashion. Would like to get this one done nice and early and get himself a great map score overall in this series.
I can't remember the last time Jordan looked this confident. This is the best I've ever seen him.
We're going to Dry Graveyards.
Honestly, we're going to Dry Graveyards. So Andy goes for one of Jordan's picks, and Jordan has actually gone for Portuguese here. Andy has gone for Lithuanians. So Lithuanians, the more meta pick. Portuguese, certainly not terrible, and you can see the advantages of the Portuguese. It says Navy and gunpowder. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of Navy or gunpowder.
You know what? Don't kill my dreams here, Dave.
Okay. It's a dry graveyard.
Where are the sand ships?
It is a dry graveyard here. Now, the things that are benefiting Jordan early, all units costing minus 20% gold is beautiful, right? You can mass more archers. The monks are going to be less. Everything along those lines. Even knights are going to be less. It's wonderful. All text research, 25% faster, is a little bit of a bonus. Not something you're really thinking about most of the time. But foragers generating wood in addition to food is huge.
I was going to say, honestly, one of my favorite civ bonuses in the entire game. It just helps smooth out the eco so much, right? It guards against anything.
And he's already gone for the mill, I believe. Andy has not gone for the mill. He's gone for the 2 militia, and he spent his wood instead on that barracks as he comes forward here with these militia and the scouts. So I think he realizes that Jordan has invested into the mill on the berries, I believe. Yep. So he might need to find that area and target it right away.
I'm a fan personally, also just because of the change. Oh no! Okay,
not to wolves.
I'm no longer a fan. I was about to say I love this play because I just like this switch up in pace, right? I like the attempt to say, hey, I'm going to go fully on the offensive. I'm going to try and get my opponent off kilter, but just like that, you've lost over 50% of the health of one of your militia. This is a near nullified push.
And he's gonna he might run into the TC too. This might just be an unfortunate series of events. We call that, so the 2 militia drush, we call that the Sato, right? But then as soon as you run into the wolves, you call that the heart.
Oh, no! Oh, he GG's right there. He GG's right there. Oh my goodness.
We literally were under the table, both
of us dropped to our knees. Oh, that was so painful.
And it's just like, it's like you saw an angle of the TC where there was no straggler tree, there was no houses. That's one side of the TC that you can run into, and he did it immediately after being tilted by 2 wolves coming and hitting his militia. And it's just like there's no momentum for Andy. Fortunately, he has won 2 sets already, so he's still 2-2. But JorDan now with another 3-0, either wins 3-0 or loses 0-3.